Good morning, Stampers. Welcome to Technique Tuesday. I'm Tina, Tina's Crafty Ink Spot. Today's technique is a part two of last week's technique. Last week we did melted crayon technique and we did it in an abstract form, more of abstract backgrounds. Now, this week we're going to try to do more of uh, a scenic melted crayon, how to make a scene with a melted crayon. Now, this technique, I kind of call it faux encaustic wax painting. Encaustic wax painting is, it's basically the same. You're using an iron and encaustic waxes. Encaustic waxes are, beside the fact they're rather expensive, they are made from beeswax. And the beeswax, they come in little cubes about this big, and they're expensive. Like just 6 colors, I think I looked up, were close to $75. I'm all about Crayola crayons for $2, and we're going to figure out how to make it do the same thing. The difference that makes this a little bit different or a little more difficult than encaustic painting is Crayola crayons are made from a paraffin wax. And paraffin wax is more of a, it could be more brittle than beeswax. So we're still going to make it work though. So I have some assorted crayons here. And you can get a box of crayons like this, 64 crayons, a little sharpener. Remember those when you were a kid, right? You can get this whole box for maybe $10, if even. And then I went ahead and I did get, because we didn't have these when we were a kid. They're glitter crayons and metallic. I think I paid $2 a box. So this is a much more cost-effective version of encaustic wax painting. Now what you do need, and I don't have any today, it's on order. I actually was able to order a box of plain white Crayolas. You do use white because you're trying to build up your wax, and the white gives you the lighter accents you need. And the more wax you have on here, the easier it is to maneuver and create the designs you want to create. Even when I did the abstract ones, I did use some white in here, and I used some metallics. This I just love. I just think this was a simple, create a fun background, add a thank you, and you're good. This one, I did the kind of ocean background. I liked that. But today we're going to do more of scenery. Now, I'm just learning this, so you're kind of learning it along with me. I watched a couple encaustic videos and thought, well, I'm going to see if I can adapt that to crayons. But since my white ones haven't shown up, and don't you just love that there's actually a real use for a white crayon? When I was a kid, I didn't think so. I'm like, why did they give us white? But today you're going to be using it. Now, I ordered a box of them for like $3 for 7 or 8 of them, but they haven't arrived yet. So we're just going to make do. And while I was trying to think of how to make do, how about candle wax? This is Party Light candle wax, and it's also paraffin wax. So it's going to mix with our crayons just fine. I'm a big Party Light fan. So all this is the aroma melts. And I picked a clear one, or a white one. It actually, when you melt it, it comes out clear, which is perfect for us. So I have a little chunk of that I'm just going to try. All right, and my power keeps going out, so hopefully we can get through this video. This is my third try. So you want to start with just a piece of Whisper White cardstock. I have tried this on photo paper and glossy stock. Maybe it's because of the crayons and not the beeswax. I couldn't get it to flow evenly. So I found this works just as easy on just a piece of Whisper White. Now last week, I showed you that I used my nonstick mat. Well, I found if you just use a scrap piece of paper and keep a paper towel piece here for wiping your camera, or I'm sorry, your iron, it works just as well. Okay, so let's get started. So what I want to do is I want to start from the top of my scene and work down. So we're going to start with the sky. Now, just like last week, you're going to add your wax. I'm going to go ahead and add some of my little party light wax. And the other good thing about this is my craft room smells amazing using this. So I'm just going to put a little layer of this on my iron. And I want to add a little bit of blues in there. Now, these are going to be strong. And you know what? Let's add just a little bit of pink into our sky. Now you're just going to take it and go across your paper. And you get your sky. Oh, I like it with the pinks in there. So I just wanted a really light sky. And then we're just going to take our iron and wipe it off. Now, I want to put a little mountain range in here. So let's do a grassy mountain range. So what I want to do is I want to take the side of my iron that's going to go up by the sky, and let's do a green mountain. So let's put this at an angle a little bit. And I'm going to add just another little tint. I want a couple colors of green in my mountain here. And then I'm going to take a light brown, and on the edge that I'm going to be swiping here, I'm just going to put a little bit of brown there. And that'll give us the accent of our mountain range. Now when you're doing this one, you kind of want to make, I call it a lazy 8 to kind of give your mountains the, so let's do that. Let's just put it on here and do a little bit of an 8. And now we can still move it, and it gives our mountain range. Okay, so we have our mountain range, and I'm going to take the edge of my iron and I'm going to go right along that mountain and just kind of create my horizon line to see where my horizon is. Now I'm going to take green. We're going to create our next section, which is the grassy field. I'm going to add a little bit of the light green in here. It's kind of a greenish yellow. Anything goes. You could put water here if you wanted. And on the edge where I'm going to go along my mountain is where I'm going to put the dark. And then I'm just going to go along my mountain there. And the different ways that you move your iron is the different effects you're going to get. Okay? So take the edge of your iron, right along that edge there. You've got your mountain scene. And my iron just came unplugged. I didn't have it plugged in strong. So now we've got our grassy area. Now we want to come down here, and I'm going to bring in, now you're building up wax, so this part right here is really fun to do. So I want to take a little bit of my darker green. So I'm going to take a little bit of my darker green, and I'm going to take a little bit of my brown to pull in some of the mountains. Oops, I splattered on there, but that's okay. So now you're going to hold your card and you're going to simply go along the bottom. Let it bend. And it's going to create designs that look like grass or flowers. And you're just popping it off. See how it kind of looks like flowers there? See there? I'm going to let that cool a second. Now what I want to do is you're going to take the edge of your iron and you're simply going to streak it upward and create some foreground grass. And because there's already crayon on there, it's going to pull it up. Now if you want your grass to be a little more prominent, just take your green and go right along the edge of your iron where you're doing that technique. So you're just going to flow it upward. Let it go up into your mountains because you're doing your foreground. I'm going to take a little bit more. Let's put a few over here on this side and just flow it up. Now it's picking up some of this brown and green that you put here, so it's actually going to give your grass some accents. And just put as much or as little accent as you want. Just go different directions. You know, grass doesn't have a... And by doing that, it gives your field more of a field look. Now what I want to do, I'm going to wipe off my iron. I want to add some little flowers down in here, like it's wildflower. So what I want to do is I'm going to take a little bit of pink. This happens to be my pink glitter one, so I think it's going to be really pretty. I'm going to take a little bit of my pink there. And let's do a little bit of light blue. Let's have some pink and blue flowers on here. Just mix it in there. Tap it. Now you're going to hold it again and just lightly tap onto your sheet. And that's going to add little tiny spots that look like flowers. Look at that. How fun is that? And you don't want to melt it too terribly much because your brown down here will melt. So you don't want your flowers to turn out to be muddy, I guess would be the say. So I'm going to wipe my iron back off. And I'm going to do just a couple more little grass streaks in here. There's a little spot on there, but I think it'll pop right in. Look at that, pops right off. Look at that. You've created a scene. How simple is that? And you've only used maybe 3 or 4 colors. Now, if you wanted to stamp on this, you could take maybe, how about Let It Ride? The horses. Stamp the horses right here in the field. There you go. Put a greeting on it. That is how simple this is. And there you go. Or you can just mat this and put it on a card just like this with a greeting. You can do anything with it. Now, I'm going to try to do something I saw in a video this morning. And if it fails, I guess we'll know I didn't learn it right. And this is, they put little birds. So what they did is they took a dark crayon right on the tip of their iron. And they just did little tiny bees. So you basically create a little bird there. So you can do as few or as many of those as you want. Guess I'm not that good at it. But there you go. That is scenery painting. That's a basic scenery. So you can adapt this any way you want. You can do water here. Maybe just do water with a little bit of beach grass here and stamp your lighthouse on it. But there you go. There is scenic stamping, faux encosted with melted crayon. I hope you enjoyed it today. Have a happy stamping day.